Welcome to Suffolk Matters, where all of Suffolk County meets the men and women of Suffolk AME. News, opinions, and insights you won't hear anywhere else. Filling in for AME President Dan Levler, here's your host, AME's Chief of Staff, Ryan McGarry.
Good morning to our listeners. This is AME Chief of Staff Ryan McGarry filling in today for President Dan Levler. We are very excited to be joined by our Suffolk County Parks and Recreation Commissioner, Jason Smagan. Jason, thank you for being here today.
Of course, Ryan, and good morning.
Good morning indeed. Commissioner, obviously, how long have you been Commissioner? And I want to get into a little bit about the path that you took becoming the Commissioner of Parks and Recreation, but just how long have you been in the title?
So I've been Parks Commissioner, so even though this is my third season, I've been Parks Commissioner for about 2.5 years.
So just in time for COVID.
Yeah, so I came in right at the heavy point of COVID and right at the point that we were opening up for the season. It was definitely a unique time to start in this new position. But, again, there's nothing like learning a new position other than jumping right into the deep end. And we had, I had a wonderful staff, very experienced that I got to work with. And, very thankful that I had them to lean on during that time because of how unique it was.
Yeah, so you're new to the department. You're coming in the middle of a pandemic. And obviously, to remind our listeners, parks were overrun in a good way, but that's where everyone was going. That's where people felt the safest. It was an outdoor environment, a great place to go meet up with friends and families while still being able to social distance and stay out of close, confined spaces. So how was that experience as a new parks commissioner coming in and having to deal with unprecedented times and increased demand on all the services and resources that our parks offer?
So yes, I have to say it was definitely a demanding time. My initial season in parks, there was never any time off whatsoever. If I wasn't in the office, I was always in the park 7 days a week. And the incredible thing was learning with the staff who's been here and are so experienced, learning with them how to handle the pandemic and making sure that we were a safe avenue for the public to go to because, as you stated, we were the only game in town. Businesses were closed, and the people came to these natural assets that they possibly had never been to, they possibly forgot about. But I can tell you the popularity shot up during that time in parks, and it's continued. It's something that people they found their love for it during the pandemic, and it's something they've still continued to go to. And again, I'm just very thankful for our incredible staff and the passionate staff and all the work they do in making sure that these parks and these incredible assets that we have in our inventory are ready for the public use.
No, that's so important. And I love that fact that the demand has stayed consistent following COVID, that now our parks are getting used to a greater extent than they really had been previously. It's something that I think in Suffolk County we really need to be proud of, our open space preservation efforts, our park preservation efforts. And I've got to commend you for always recognizing the contributions of your team, of your staff. Obviously, we're proud to represent the vast majority of parks employees through AME, who do tremendous service providing those vital, essential services for our residents. But a little bit more about your background. So you've been commissioner for 2.5 years. Before that, you were real estate director.
Yes, I was the director of real estate.
Before that, you came from the private sector. You were
Well, actually, I was in the county attorney office prior to becoming the director of real estate. I was in the county attorney's office for about 8 months. And but yes, prior to that, I was serving in the private sector as in-house counsel to a few different companies. And, after years of being in the private sector, I made the transition to the public sector into the county attorney's office. It was a wonderful place to work, and I actually got to work on some incredible projects that were incredible initiatives here at the county. And then it led to me then transitioning into the position of director of real estate, where I actually had the opportunity to be able to supervise over, incredible staff who were very dedicated. And again, the real estate division is very unique because it's a division that actually ends up bringing in between 20 and $30 million annually for the county, with a staff of between 20 and 30. So thinking of all that this small department is able to do, it really was an incredible time.
No, we're extremely proud of our AME members who are in these revenue generating positions, who help keep taxes low and then allow the government to fund the programs, services, and provide the resources that our residents depend on every single day. Just quickly, because you did come from the private sector and you have that unique experience of private sector to government service, was there something in particular about government service that attracted you to the field?
So it's something I've always had an interest in, because it affects everyday life. And I was born in Suffolk County. I've lived most of my life in Suffolk County, and it gave me the opportunity to actually work on projects that are happening here in Suffolk County. And it's incredible to see the actual work and how it affects the public and how it affects the community that you're a part of. And one of the things actually of being Parks Commissioner is this incredible inventory that we have that the public may not be aware of. And one of the concentrations that we've been focusing on has been trying to market these parks and educate the public on what exists, because we do have some of the most incredible assets here in Suffolk County, that are ranked worldwide. And the public isn't aware of everything that we have in the inventory, and we want to make them aware, and we want to invite them to use these incredible assets. It's their money that's helped preserve these pieces of property, and we want to see them use it as best they can.
Well, we're obviously very proud to be in an opportunity here at AME to invite you on the show as a guest, not here on Suffolk Matters, to help get the word out about our great and amazing parks out to the general public. Obviously, a huge listenership we are very fortunate to have with our partners. So here's your opportunity, Commissioner. What is it that you wish people knew more about with their parks, and also what are the methods you're using to market the parks to the greater extent that you're referencing?
Really, it's, one of the things was people just going outside and going to parks that they possibly driven by a million times and never pulled into. So it was just the opportunity of them pulling into these places and being like, wow, I had no idea this existed, but this is an incredible place. So what I can tell you is we have a list of parks on our website that have all different kind of uses, whether it be biking, camping. For beachgoers, we have multiple lifeguarded beaches. It's just an incredible inventory of assets that exist. And we're talking about some of the most beautiful pieces of property that exist in the county. If these properties weren't preserved years ago when they were, there's no way the county would be able to afford to purchase them at this time due to the property value that exists. I mean, we're talking about just in Montauk alone, we have 1,200 preserved acres there. As we've seen with the prices of, on a per acre basis out there, it would have been an incredible hurdle to try to purchase something like that today. But we have this open to the public, and it's just, what I can tell you is get out there and take a look, because it's really incredible sites that we have that have been preserved, and they should be used.
No, it's fantastic. And, the secondary to the use, obviously, we want our residents to be taking advantage of these amazing resources that we have worked hard to preserve. I mean, you and I met when I was with the County Executive Loans Office, so doing some great work there. But secondary to that use and enjoying the natural resources that we've worked hard to protect, it also helps protect our health of our region by protecting our water quality. When we're preserving these open spaces, it's giving nature a chance to filter the water that's entering our sole source aquifer, and helping to reduce that nitrogen load that I know the county executive has been very focused on addressing through advancing sewer infrastructure and IA systems. But the third component to it, falls under your umbrella, both with real estate and now with parks, in terms of preserving open space. Can you just speak a little bit to how that has worked?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So the unique thing about the county park system is we're kind of one of the only departments that our inventory is continually growing annually by, these incredible investments that the county executive and the county legislature are making in purchasing these properties. I believe the county, on average is spending between 10 and $20 million annually to preserve properties, whether it be they're preserving properties for passive open space, whether it's preserving properties for kind of an active use for a local community to be able to do something in, or we have even a very successful development rights purchase program, which helps protect farmland and have it be protected to be farmland forever. And it's something, that's incredible assets that are being built. And like I said, the concentration is trying to make the public aware of it because the public's the ones, spending the money to have these things preserved. They should also get the benefit of using them. So what I can say, especially since, as we know, that July is a Parks Month, that we would like to see everyone just get outside and enjoy these assets.
Excellent. Commissioner, thank you so much. We still have some time left. Just good morning again to our listeners. I'm AME Chief of Staff Ryan McGarry, filling in for AME President Dan Leveler this morning. We're joined by our Suffolk County Parks and Recreation Commissioner, Jason Smagan. And Jason, you just put us right where I want to be at this time of the interview because, as you just said, it's Parks and Recreation Month, this month of July. Anything special that the Parks Department is doing to hopefully attract more people, more visitors to our parks? I know, for one thing, we were just talking about off air, Parks After Dark, which is a movie night or a series of movie nights to try and bring some culture into the park space and have some good family fun. So what's going on with that?
So it's actually an incredible event that gets hosted in a few of our parks, and we do this annually. And this was something that we had started with doing drive-in movies during COVID, and now that those COVID restrictions are lifted, we're now doing lawn movies, but with the same screen. We have this wonderful blow-up 40-foot screen. We have these incredible speakers. And we're able to set this up in our parks and welcome the public to bring blankets, chairs, snacks, and just kind of enjoy being in the parks after dark and watching wonderful movies. So we're hosting 3 movies. We have the July 21st, we're at Gardner's County Park, and we're showing the movie Encanto. August 4th, we're at Condrey Hall, and we're showing Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl. August 18th, we're at Indian Island County Park, and we're showing Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark. And what I could say is, come check these parks out. You will not be disappointed, and you'll get to enjoy a wonderful free movie.
Oh, that's fantastic. And what time of night do they start?
We start after 8 because we have to wait for dusk for the movies to be able to be shown. So it ends up being a little bit of a late night, but again, it's such a unique experience being under the stars watching the movie in the parks. We just welcome everyone to come.
And they can bring their blankets, their beach chairs, they can bring their snacks and goodies and just have a great time. And I love that, I know this isn't on accident. You're a great commissioner, good at what you do. You're at Gardner's Park, right in Bay Shore, the middle of the island on the South Shore. Then you're shooting up at Coinger Hall, which is, up in Huntington on the North Shore, and then in the island, of course, in Riverhead. So you're really giving the residents of Suffolk County the ability to hit the parks closest to them.
Yeah, so that's one of the things that you realize is how gigantic Suffolk County actually is. And we want everyone to be able to have this unique experience. So it's, wonderful locations that we've chosen. They're unique from the locations that were chosen last year. Actually, last year we had a very cool movie night actually at the Vanderbilt Museum, which was very successful. And, again, it's just if you have not had the chance to come to these parks and see them, it's definitely a unique experience that you'll have.
No, that's great. And obviously, we're in the summer season. It's Parks and Recreation Month in July. This is when the demand for use of our parks is at our highest. So I'm just wondering, but I know for the workload, for the work our AME members do, the work you oversee as commissioners, as a commissioner, it's not just working in the summer and then put your feet up all off season. So can you speak a little bit to the work that our AME members do under your direction, and how that workload differs between the summer months and the off-season months?
Yeah, so when you hear of Suffolk County Parks and working in the department, you automatically think, well, your busy season's the summer season, and where it's correct that the bulk of the public will use our parks during the warmer months, we are year round. So even when we close the parks from camping and stuff like that, that's when we're able to do these kind of projects, whether it be small scale or large scale projects in these parks, to be able to gear them up and improve them for the next season for the public to be able to use. So it's incredible to see these passionate AME workers who I have in the Parks Department, because we have a humongous inventory in Suffolk County parks, and without the hard workers that these individuals are and the dedication they have, because they care, because they're passionate about their jobs, because they want to see the best product put out for the people. And I'm lucky to be a commissioner of a department where I don't have to try to fight to get people to care. They already care. That battle's already done. So it really makes my job easier in overseeing all of these assets and all of the management of it, because of how lucky I am, because of the staff that we have working in them.
No, we appreciate hearing that from you. Obviously, that's part of the question I asked earlier about what attracted you to government service. I know for so many of our members, of course, it's the stability that comes from working in the public sector. We do have benefits. We do have a retirement. But more than that, I really believe that most of our members are drawn to government service for that second word, service. They really do want to be a part of their community, have meaning in their work, improving their region, and serving the public. And the fact that you, as a commissioner, recognize that means a lot, and I'm sure it brings you a lot of respect from the workforce to know that you respect them. Just going back, you're talking about that diversity of work that needs to be done and some major projects in the off season, but you also have regular maintenance that goes on, the parks are just so diverse from one another. You have inland parks, you have beaches, they have different needs. You have to do trail maintenance, you have to do cleanup. But what are some of those major projects that you're especially proud of? I know you're doing a lot of work to revitalize like Mashout County Beach, but anything going on or anything stand out in your mind?
Yeah, so one of the major things that we're committed to moving forward on is we're trying to redo our campgrounds, and we're trying to electrify our more campsites. What we're seeing is camping has changed over the years, and the public wants to camp, but they want to be a little more comfortable camping than they were in years past. So we're trying to give the public what they're asking for, which is access to electric sites. So we have parks where we have a certain portion of the park electrified and the other portion of the park is not. So you look and you see, well, what campsites are booked? It's only the electric sites that are booked. So if we're able to electrify more of these sites, we'll give the public more of an option to want to camp at these locations, because again, camping's changed, technology's changed. People are working from home, which also means they could be working from while they're on vacation at one of our campsites. And having them within electrified sites allows them to use the certain devices and things like that needed for their everyday lives.
No, that's fantastic. And again, you can camp on the inland parks. You can camp at some of the waterfront parks like Smith Point as well. So incredible resources that our folks have the option to use and utilize, get to. And when we're talking about beaches, we're talking about July and it being Parks and Recreation Month. At the end of July, we also have Shark Week, and we know sharks have been making headlines with sightings and unfortunately with some recent attacks in the area. As Parks Commissioner, how does that affect your operations? What is the county doing to keep residents and beachgoers safe? Obviously, we don't want people to be too fearful to go and use our beautiful beaches that they have a right to use. And what should they be doing to keep themselves safe when they're going to the beaches this season?
Yeah. So what I can tell you is that the interactions that have happened this year and last year with dangerous marine life has been unique. Last year was the first time that we had to close the swim area due to seeing sharks within it. And now that we're seeing the dangerous marine life here again this year, it's something that we do believe is not something that's going to go away. This is going to be an annual issue that we see. But what I can say is that our staff, our lifeguards that are on our beaches, they've been monitoring our waters the entire history for dangerous marine life. So it's not just sharks that are constituted as dangerous marine life. It's jellyfish. It's could be stingrays. It could be a lot of unique different fish within the water. So if they're able to see anything, they will close the swim area if they believe it to be dangerous, pull people out. So we have, and we're lucky enough to have lifeguards, 9-time national champion lifeguards. And these lifeguards have continued monitoring this annually. It's not unique to them. It's not new. It's something they've always done. So the tips that I can give you is swim with there is lifeguards, because this is what they're watching for. This is what they're being paid to do. They're watching to make sure the water is safe. And it's not just the dangerous marine life. It's also rip currents or other things like that. If it's fog, they may have to close the area. This is what they're doing, and how they're monitoring it. That's changed over the years because as technology's changed. So one of the things that we have is, you have, binoculars from land. We have paddle boards and surfboards. We have jet skis at each of our beach locations, which we've never had in years past. We also working with Fred's department.
I'm glad. I was going to ask about that. Yeah.
Yeah, and having
coordinating with other departments. So tell me, what is our members in Fres doing to help coordinate with Parks?
So they've been an incredible partner with helping monitor the water. So another asset that when we flag or see, any type of bunker fish or anything like that, we've been able to work with them and help them help us monitor the water by bringing in drones to help kind of monitor and us look for any type of uniqueness that possibly we weren't able to spot. So it's just another way that technology has improved for us to be able to monitor the water. So, we're lucky enough that the county executive as committed as he is to making sure these beaches are safe. Recently announced that the county is going to be purchasing 2 additional drones that are going to be kept. One is going to be kept at Smith Point, and the other one is going to be kept at Cupsog, which is our 2 ocean water beaches. And our lifeguards are in the process of becoming licensed so they could operate the drones themselves. And again, it's just another tool to help with the monitoring of the water. But again, dangerous marine life in the water is nothing new. Dangerous marine life has always been in the water. But what I can tell you is that the tips to kind of minimize the danger is swim only where there's lifeguards in the regulated swim areas. Make sure you're not swimming at dawn or at dusk, because that's the most activity for the dangerous marine life. If you see bunker fish, get right out of the water, because again, those are the fish that these dangerous marine life is feeding on. So, we live on an island. We're coastline throughout. It's a tough thing to say. Make sure if you are going to swim in a lifeguarded area. But again, this is what these lifeguards are doing. They are dedicated. They are extremely trained and ready to go at any moment's notice in anything that they spot. And again, I've learned a lot since becoming Parks Commissioner. I grew up going to Montauk my whole life, and these were some things I had never thought about. But I can tell you, as I've matured and gotten older, I always recommend if you're going to swim in an area that it's protected by the lifeguards.
No, thank you so much for those tips. And obviously, people should have confidence that they have highly trained professionals there to keep them safe, whether it's the lifeguards you mentioned or talking about coordinating with our other brothers and sisters in fire rescue emergency services to make sure the waters are safe as well, or even our health department to make sure the quality of our water is safe for swimming. So much coordination, and that is done with trained career professionals and not by some fly-by-night, hire off the street process. So we're very proud of our Suffolk County workforce. Again, I'm AME Chief of Staff Ryan McGarry, filling in for AME President Dan Leveler. With us this morning is Suffolk County Parks Commissioner Jason Smigan. And Commissioner, before we let you go, we only have a few more minutes, but something that's near and dear to my heart is the Suffolk County Marathon, which I was very proud to help organize on behalf of County Executive Malone in its first founding years, the first 3 years. So proud to see how this event has evolved and grown. And I know it's a heavy lift for your department. It's a heavy lift for the entire county. We talked about it recently with Director Tom Ronayne, but we have crossing guards involved. Our DPW workers are involved. Our police officers as well as police civilian is involved. But of course, with a 2-day Freedom Festival at Gardner's County Park, our Parks Department is very involved. So can you talk a little bit about the marathon, what it means to you? It's coming up the weekend of October 22nd. All proceeds going to veterans, so it's for a great cause. What should folks know about the day?
So it's an incredible event, and Ryan, I just have to say thank you for all you've done in helping this event come to be what it is. So it's a 2-day event. It's scheduled this year for October 21st and October 22nd. The 5K will be held on the Saturday, but the half marathon and the marathon and the 10K will be held on Sunday, October 22nd. Both days will include music and festival activities at Gardner's County Park, which every person who goes there, they all say the same thing. If they weren't aware of it and this is their first time going, they all say, this is an incredible place. I wish I knew about this earlier. But as you stated, it is an incredible lift to run this incredibly large event. The signups are actually higher than they've been in past years, and we're very excited about that. And it's because of the popularity of this unique race. You're talking about a race where you get to run across a bridge. It's not something that's been done on Long Island, and it's incredible to see. And I am not a runner personally, but my understanding is running across the bridge, as amazing as it sounds, it's a little bit of uphill, and it is not the easiest portion of the race, to say the least.
Runners want to challenge themselves, though, and I might be a little intimidated to do that incline, but what I'm excited about is the 5K. Obviously, it's a lot shorter, but it's all on site at Gardner's Park, which you mentioned. It's all through the trails of Gardner's Park, which makes that an extremely unique event. But yeah, you're absolutely right. The new course that they started a year or two ago goes over the Robert Moses Causeway. It goes over the bridges. So you hit 2 bridges. You got to get up and over that water, and you run along Ocean Parkway before coming back. And it's just an absolutely amazing event. I'm proud to still have a small role in it, and that under our direction of President Dan Leveler and the AME Executive Board, AME continues to be an integral sponsor of the event every year. And in addition to sponsoring, we also try to register over 50 runners every year as well. So great to hear registration is as high as it is, or exceeding previous benchmarks. I'd love this to be the most successful year. I know this is also the year where we're really going to pierce that threshold of $1 million raised for local Suffolk County veterans. So where can folks register? Because I also know that if they register today, they're going to save a little money as opposed to waiting till the event comes.
Yes, absolutely. So what I can tell you is you can register online at runsignup.com, and it's categorized as the Catholic Health Suffolk County Marathon. Again, there's a marathon option, a half marathon, a 10K, a 5K. The 5K run is very unique, as you mentioned. And Ryan, I hate to blow you up like this, but you are a runner. You are someone with a lot of experience with running.
I'm a has-been.
Yeah. Should I say was a runner then?
Fair.
So it is an trail run, the 5K, and it's really incredible because you're running through the trails at Gardner's County Park, and they're beautiful trails throughout. The Park Maintenance Division does an incredible job making sure that the course is prepped and ready for the public's use. But again, it's not something that's unique to Parks Maintenance. This is something they're doing year-round because Gardner's County Park is a very busy park within our county system. So it's something they're always working on. It's something they're always looking to improve on. And it was incredibly successful because last year was the first year that they did the 5K all within the park itself. And the runners seem to be very happy. And my understanding is that trail runners and road runners, they're, two completely different types of races. So trail runners really love being kind of throughout the grassy parks and all the unique kind of scenery that they'll be able to see. But I mean, you're talking about a waterfront park with an incredible trail system within it. It has an amazing dog park, playgrounds, and what I can say is that we look forward to, allowing the park to speak for itself. I mean, really, because that's been the showstopper throughout is everyone who's come to and they get to, for the marathon, the half marathon, the 10K, they're finishing within the park, and all of them have said the same thing. Wow, this is really incredible access. And if they weren't aware of it, it's someplace that they remember and want to continue going back to.
No, it really is a beautiful park, Gardner's Park in Bayshore. We hope everyone will come out on the weekend of the 21st and 22nd in October to support the marathon, but we hope they use Gardner's Park this July for Parks and Recreation Month and also throughout the entire summer. It really is an amazing sight when you walk south along that trail. All of a sudden, the tree line clears, and you're in the shadow of the Robert Moses Bridge and the Great South Bay. It's absolutely stunning. Parks Commissioner Smagan, thank you so much for being with us. Again, AME Chief of Staff Ryan McGarry filling in for AME President Dan Leveler. We were lucky to be joined by Parks Commissioner Jason Smagan. We encourage folks to sign up for the marathon, support our veterans. We also encourage folks to visit the Parks Department website, learn more about Parks After Dark and those 3 movie nights that are coming out, and really just utilize the beautiful natural environment that our elected officials have worked so hard to preserve. So, Commissioner, thank you.
Thank you so much, Ryan.